This is one of those I'm saving for probably a future response to a comment on a Facebook thread, which is typical these days. They're giving me so much content, subject matter to respond to that I can barely keep up. But what if I told you that you do have a superpower as a driver? And yes, this is in response to any of those comments, those things that we need to unionize, we need to organize together, and to be able to force these companies to pay more for the deliveries that we make, and that we should organize and that we should strike. By the way, you're asking people to strike and to organize who can't even agree between each other what direction the sun comes up in the morning. You get 10 different drivers and you probably get 5 different answers to that question. Does it rise in the east? Does it rise in the southeast? Does it rise in the northeast? How about the north-northeast? How about the east-northeast? Yeah, that's the way drivers can be in the gig apps. They're going to argue over every little minute piece of information. You're not going to be able to do it, let alone get them to organize. But there is one way to fight back, and you haven't even thought of it yet. Most of you have not thought of it yet. Some of you have. I've seen some commentary out there. Some of you have thought of this one, and it is true. You see, you have this little superpower. It's called the decline button. In Uber, it is on the upper right-hand side of the offer screen. In DoorDash, it's the same way, but they both have the same label, decline. In Uber, if it's a radar order, you have to hit the little X button on the upper right-hand corner of the offer screen. There's no separate decline button on those. But nonetheless, these all do the same thing. Sends it back into the queue for somebody else to be offered to somebody else. And this, folks, is our superpower. I also get questions all the time. Why do they keep sending us these terrible $2 offers? Why do they keep sending us these terrible $3 offers to go 10 miles each way, by the way? I'm in a semi-rural market, so these miles get doubled all the time. So if it's a 10-mile trip, you're calculating based on 20 miles. Most of my trips leave the zone and do so by several miles. But I get questioned. We see these questions all the time, and I'm going to also use this video to respond to this one. Why do I keep getting these terrible offers? Why do I keep getting these? I accept all these offers. I'm platinum. I get, they say I'm supposed to get better offers. Well, newsflash for you, buds. If you accept enough of these minimum fare trips, no tip trips, you accept enough of those, somebody back in Uber or DoorDash has you labeled as their sucker. You're the sucker. Once you get that label, they're going to keep pouring you on these offers. There's no evidence, no proof ever been provided by the apps saying that drivers who accept more offers get better offers. They've never provided the proof. It's a statement. It's a lie. I know because when I first started doing this, I accepted most of my offers. I had acceptance rates of 80-ish%. I got terrible offers all the time. I took those offers like a good little sucker, and the situation didn't improve until I started declining them. Once I started declining them and going towards my present status of my DoorDash acceptance rate being 11%, my Uber acceptance rate is 6%. Now, I don't get as many of these terrible offers. I still get them like everybody else does, but they offer them because they know that there's suckers out there that will take them. I think they rotate them through all the drivers that are on at a particular given time, so it may not discriminate me, as a particular selective driver. They'll send it to me anyway, trying to get me to take it. Of course, I never do. I was once a decent recreational poker player. I've done pretty well in my time. There was a famous poker player by the name of Amarillo Slim Preston. And here's what he said. He said, if you look around the table and you can't see the sucker is you. And so if you are looking around the table right now and asking why you're still getting these terrible offers and you can't find the sucker, you're the sucker. You sucker. You need to stop. doing this now and take your power back. Take your power back. You're giving them too much power, and they're getting that power from you based on a lie. There is no evidence or proof ever provided by an app or a driver that accepting more offers gets you overall better ones. It just doesn't happen. And I've seen this before on DoorDash screenshots where it says, your status as a premium dasher has given you this premium, giving you access to this premium offer. What's the premium offer? $10 for 25 miles. Garbage. And in my market, that $10 for 25 miles is really $10 for 50 miles because you're coming back empty every single time. We go out of our market, our zone, all the time. Your chances of getting a trip back are zero, a paid trip back are zero, because there isn't a restaurant within 10 miles of the drop-off point. And even if you do get a trip, you're driving 10 miles to get to that restaurant. It is rural and semi-rural driving in this ex-urban market of mine. So paying attention to your expenses is critical to driving in my market. If you don't do that in a market like this, you're throwing away your money. You're throwing it away. You're going to Tony Jew of DoorDash, CEO, with your hand out with money in hand and saying, here you go, Tony, here's some free money. That's what you're doing by not declining these trips. You're going to the CEO of DoorDash and you're giving him free money. Free money. You're doing this for not only for free, but you're doing it at a loss. Take your power back today. Stop accepting these garbage trips. Start using your superpower, the decline button. And watch your numbers. I mean, your overall gross earnings may not improve, but your profits will. You're going to stop losing money. You're going to start actually earning money. You may not earn enough money to brag about it on Facebook threads, but nonetheless, you'll be making a profit. It'll actually be worth your while if you take your superpower back and stop handing Tony Jew free money. Do it today. Resolve what your profit margin needs, what your break-even point is. Again, for me, 72 cents per mile is my expense ratio. My break-even point in your typical trip is $1.44 a mile. Reason for that being, of course, the empty miles back. I typically don't take anything under $1.60 per mile because I have to account that Forest Lake, Minnesota has the longest restaurant wait times in the nation. We average 12 minutes per restaurant. That's an average, by the way. That's not a worst case scenario. That is average here. Worst case scenarios can usually run half an hour. I also looked up and I also can prove that we have the worst delivery times in the nation at 46 minutes per order. Again, the restaurants here don't prioritize delivery orders, and labor is a struggle for reasons I've explained before. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting your money. Stop writing a check to Tony Jew of DoorDash. Make this change now. And you will stop bragging about how much money you're making on DoorDash while throwing money away and actually making money for real. Do it today. Figure out your expenses. Figure out how much you need to break even, and then resolve to make a profit on your trips. Every trip. Don't take money, losers. Unless you're doing this for a tax write-off against W-2 income. Then that might be worth it. That's the exception. Is if you have a W-2 day job that you're doing in addition to this, you can write off overall losses doing this against your day job income. And you can actually get some of your money back that way. Reducing your taxes on your W-2 income on the overall package at the end of the year. But barring that, if you're doing this full time, you need to start using the decline button exclusively. If your acceptance rate is higher than 20%, shame on you. If your acceptance rate is higher than 20%, you're throwing away money. You're giving it away. Stop writing Tony checks. Start using your superpower. Start using the reject button and do it today. I'll leave this for now. Make the change now. Do it today. As always, peace out, homies.